In our Learning Together, we will be focusing on strengthening our explicit and systematic instruction of foundational language and literacy knowledge. In the TEKS, these skills mostly all fall within Strand 1, developing and sustaining foundational language skills, which includes listening, speaking, reading, writing, discussion, and thinking of oral language, beginning reading and writing, vocabulary, fluency, and self sustained reading, which includes increased periods of time for independent reading. Though we know that the nature of teaching language is that we don't learn it perfectly within one single teaching experience, instead, we need multiple exposures and experiences to review and practice before we master a skill. The TEKS introduction says all 7 strands are interconnected, and over time, across the grade levels, students will continue to develop knowledge and skills with increased complexity and nuance in order to think critically and adapt to the ever evolving nature of language and literacy. So, while we're focusing here together on our explicit early literacy instruction, all we teach here will naturally feed into all other listening, speaking, reading, writing, and thinking across our entire literacy block. Let's imagine what we teach as a Venn diagram. It's important to remember that while we're strengthening our knowledge of teaching phonological awareness and phonics, that this content can't be the only literacy components that we teach our students. Our students also need time to learn about texts and thinking as readers, and to learn to write down ideas and thoughts as writers. In Shifting the Balance, Perkins and Yates say students need explicit information about how reading works and immersive experiences that show them how to leverage reading and writing to change the world. In teaching literacy, we must also help students to read and write arguments, draw on comprehension skills to understand what they read, use research to explore questions, develop habits of being avid readers and writers, read critically, consider issues of power and perspective, develop vocabulary and world knowledge, and on and on. One researcher says it best: we need to help kids grow up experiencing reading and writing as something that belongs to them, that they can use for their own important purposes. Calkins, 2022. We need to empower our students as readers and writers. So, thinking again to all of our ELA TEKs, we know all 7 strands are interconnected, reciprocal, and recursive, meaning literacy learning is a process. Everything our students learn will feed all the rest of their learning, and they will improve with more application, practice, reteaching, review, as the text's word usage and comprehension demands grow in complexity. As educators, we need to make sure that we're giving students the explicit instruction they need as well as the time to apply and practice what they learn. Think about literacy instruction like 3 overlapping spheres of content. Thinking specifically about how we structure our time, we know there must be time for direct instruction in foundational literacy, reading, and writing instruction. While there are so many different opportunities for overlap, there are specific areas that require explicit instruction. This is why we need time for direct instruction in reading, direct instruction in writing, and explicit instruction in foundational literacy.